to today's grammar lesson. Today we're talking about pronouns. The pronouns that we're going to focus on today are subject pronouns and object pronouns. So the first thing that we're going to talk about are what are pronouns and why we use them in English. So pronouns are words that substitute for nouns and noun phrases. And if you're not familiar with a noun phrase is a group of words that act like a noun. And why do we use pronouns? We often use them so we don't sound too repetitive in a sentence, and sometimes it makes sentences shorter and easier to understand. So we use pronouns so we're not saying the same thing again and again. Let's have a look at some examples to better show you what I mean by that. So look at these sentences, for example. We have Lisa went shopping last Sunday. Lisa bought a dress. Lisa looks beautiful in her new dress. So if we're focusing on the subject of each sentence, the subject is clearly always Lisa, underlined in red. Lisa did the action of shopping. Then Lisa did the action of buying a dress. And then Lisa looks beautiful. And so always our subject is Lisa, Lisa, Lisa. Now this is really repetitive. And we don't really need to say Lisa 3 times because if you say it 1 time, then here, we already know that we're talking about Lisa. So we don't need to say it 3 times. After the first time, we can use a pronoun here and a pronoun here to refer to Lisa without having to repeat her name so many times. So we can fix it by making them into these sentences. They look a little bit better. You can say Lisa went shopping last Sunday. To say Lisa at the beginning is necessary so we know who we're talking about. But now we already know who we're talking about, so we can say she bought a dress. She looks beautiful in her new dress. And now we're using the pronoun she and she. So proper noun, Lisa, in the first sentence, and after that, we need the pronoun she. Since we're referring to the subject, this is what we know as a subject pronoun. So today in this lesson, we're going to focus on 2 different types of pronouns. The first is what I've mentioned, a subject pronoun, and then we're also going to look at object pronouns. So first, what are subject pronouns? Subject pronouns are used when the pronoun is the subject of the sentence. Subjects are what are doing the action. So the action is the verb, and so the subjects are doing the action. So, for example, she reads a book. So in this case here, there's the action of reading, reads. And so this is who is doing the action of reading, she. So in this case, she is the subject pronoun because she is doing the action of reading. So in really basic sentences, we follow a simple structure. And in this structure, we're going to see where we put a subject pronoun in a sentence. And subject pronouns typically go where subjects go. So if you look at this basic sentence structure, we have SVO. The S stands for subject, the V stands for verb, and the O stands for object. And so subject is what we're focusing on. So at the beginning, that's where we can put our subject pronoun because that's where subjects go. So right here, SVO, subject, verb, object. If we're going to use a subject pronoun, it will go here at the beginning where the subject goes. So there are different subject pronouns. We have I, you, he, she, it, they, we. So these are the subject pronouns that you will typically see in English sentences, and we use them in the most basic sentences and super complex sentences as well. These are really, really commonly used words, so it's important to know exactly how to use them. So let's just go over briefly which each subject pronoun is and when we use them. So I is a personal first-person pronoun. So you use it when you're talking about yourself. You is used to refer to the person the speaker is talking to. It's a personal first-person pronoun. So this guy is talking, he's saying you to this person. That's who he's talking to, who he's referring to. He is used to talk about a boy or man. She is used to talk about a girl or woman. It is used to talk about single objects or animals. So we use it to talk about things and animals. We do not use it to talk about humans. That is not often seen as a respectful thing to do. They is used to talk about a group of people, and this group does not include yourself. So this is you, and this is the group of people. You would use they to talk about this group of people, but you are separate. However, we is used to talk about a group of people, and it's a group of people that includes yourself. So you are part of the group, and so you say we for that. There are some other times that we use pronouns in certain ways, and that depends on the culture and social environment of the English-speaking region that you are in. So let's look at some example sentences to see if you can identify the best subject pronoun to use. So in this example sentence, Kayla loves to bake. Blank baked a cupcake. So what is the best subject pronoun to use? Let's see. She. So our sentence would be, Kayla loves to bake. She baked a cupcake. Why is she the best subject pronoun to use? Well, we know we are talking about a woman or girl. Kayla is a girl name. And so because Kayla is a girl name, then we know that she, because she is typically used to talk about girls or women, she is the best subject pronoun to use. And so for this example sentence, let's have a look. It says, Mike is going to school. And here, in case you're not familiar, Mike is a boy's name. So if Mike is a boy's name, then what would be the best subject pronoun to use? He. He is going to school. So he is the best subject pronoun to use because we're talking about a boy in this case. So since we know we're talking about a boy or man, he is the best. Let's look at this one. So here we have something, am always happy. Am always happy. I am always happy. So how do we know this? Unlike the other ones, we have no clues with the names. A lot of the time the names will tell us because in a lot of English-speaking places, there are girls' names and then there are boys' names. So a lot of the time it's easier to tell. This is not true for every name, but for many names. So how do we tell in this case? Well, we're looking at the form of be, which is am. So when we know that the form of be is am, the only subject that can be used is I. We only say I am. There's no other subject with this form of be. So this is the proper subject pronoun to use. So we can typically look to the form of be to give us a clue, but it's going to be a little bit tricky sometimes. So let's have a look at the subjects and then the form of be that we use for each subject. So like we know, we use am as the form of be. You, we use are. He is. She is. It is. They are. We are. So these are the forms of be that we use with these subjects. Now, you can look at this and find out what pronoun can I use, but it's not always going to work. So we know that in the case that we looked at before, I has the form am. And that's why in the example, I am always happy, it was clear that the answer is I am always happy. And we have I first and then am. So as I was saying, we can't always use this to help us. Even though am was pretty straightforward, because we can see am is the only form of be that we can use with I. It's not always like that. For example, look at the form of be that's are. We can say you are. But down here we can also see they are, we are. So it doesn't exactly tell us all the time. Same thing with the form of be is. We can use he, she, or it. So it can be a little bit more difficult sometimes to figure out the subject by only looking at the form of be, especially when it's is or are, because that can be used with many different subjects. So now we're going to talk about object pronouns. Object pronouns are used when the pronoun is the object of the action in the sentence. In other words, the object is the thing the action is being done to. So, for example, he gave her a flower. In this case, her is the object pronoun because the girl, her, she's the one receiving the action of giving. So the object is the thing the action is being done to. He is doing the action of giving, so he is the subject. She is on the other end of that, and the action of giving is being done to her, so she's the object. So object pronouns, every subject pronoun has an object pronoun that matches to it. And sometimes the subject and object pronouns look the same, so it can be a little bit tricky. So for the subject, we have I, and then object for that is me. Subject you, object is you. Subject is he, object is him. Subject is she, object is her. Subject is it, object is it. Subject is they, object is them. Subject is we, and object is us. So you can see with you, they are the same, and it, they are the same. So it can be a little bit tricky. But in all the other subject pronouns, it's a little bit different. So it's best to memorize these and become really familiar with them because we use them a lot in English. And it's really important that these are used correctly, otherwise it can cause a little bit of confusion. So the structure, let's look back to our simple structure. Before, when we were looking at subject pronouns and the SVO structure, we knew that the subject would go at the beginning. However, now we're looking for where the object goes. Where do we put our object pronoun? Well, we put our object pronoun after the verb at the end, where the object goes. Right there. So let's look at some example sentences, and we'll do the fill in the blank sentences to see what is the best object pronoun to use. So we have the teacher spoke to, and then the students. So here we have plural, many. So we're going to use them. So, since we know we're talking about a group of people, many people, the students, plural, we know that we have to use the object pronoun for they. And so if we look to our chart and look at the subject they, then we can find the object pronoun, which is them. Let's look at this one. Fred gave Molly some cake. So now we're looking at the object, who is Molly. It tells us Molly is typically a girl's name. So what is the best object pronoun for a girl? Her. So since we know we are talking about a girl or woman, because we know that Molly is a girl's name, we will use the object pronoun for she. And this object pronoun is her. All right, now let's look at this one. My mom hugged, and then we have my sister and I. My sister and I. So another person and then yourself. Us. My mom hugged us. Since we know we are talking about multiple people, and one of the people is the speaker, I, then we have to use the object pronoun for the subject, we. And this object pronoun is us. So, to summarize, subject pronouns are used to replace nouns that are subjects of the sentence, the thing doing the action. Object pronouns are used to replace nouns that are objects of the sentence, which is the thing the action is being done to. The subject pronouns are I, you, he, she, it, they, we. And the object pronouns are me, you, him, her, it, them, us. That's all for today's lesson. Thank you so much for watching, and if you found this video helpful, there's more to come. Please like and subscribe so you can be notified exactly when new grammar videos are posted. Have a wonderful day. See you next time. Bye.